on economic and budget matters for Nevada. And I just want to start with this picture here. I don't know if you can see it. It's a long way to the back. But this is a picture of the Nevada General Fund. And this goes back to 1975. The red line in this case, if you can see it, which with the two high peaks, the red line is expenditures. And this is by year. Of course, the budget's done in biennium, but so by year here are expenditures, and then the blue line right here represents actual revenues. You notice that we had a good year here. Of course, we gave all that money back at the time, and we didn't put it in a rainy day fund, which we should have come to regret. But what I want to show you is this is adjusting for population and inflation. It's not adjusting for the fact that wages in real terms have gone up. It's not adjusting for the fact that Nevada has greater needs than it had before. All we're doing is saying, look, for 40 years, we have more or less kept stable over that long period. And actually, it peaked back in like 1979-80 and peaked in around 2007, 2008. And since then, we're basically as low as it's been, again, adjusting for population and inflation, as it's been in 40 years. So the people who come to you and say, oh, government's just spending more money and all this money, and where do I spend it all? And, then you wonder, well, what the hell are you talking about? 1975, Nevada's a really different place. So another way to look at it, which takes into account the fact that real wages have gone up for many people, is to adjust and look at it as a share of the economy. How much we spend as a share of the economy. Same numbers, except I'm only looking at expenditures, and then I do this little adjustment. Now, see, the problem with dividing by our state economy is when the economy goes in recession, the denominator goes down. So even if your piece of pie is the same little sliver it always was, if the pie is smaller, it's going to be a bigger share of the pie. So I do a trick here. The blue line represents the adjustments. The red line represents the actual expenditures as a share of the state economy. The blue line adjusts for recessions. And so basically, the way I adjust it is I don't let it go down. When we go into recession, I hold it steady for population and inflation until it catches back up. Right? So I'm trying to smooth out the recessions with that blue line. So what you should notice is, as a share of the economy, right now, Nevada's general fund, right, the fund that the state uses to pay for everything from K through 12 to higher education to prisons to what have you, the general fund is as low as it has been in 40 years, right? So it wanted to tell me, I wish I could just disable all these little messages that keep coming up. Sorry about that. So looking at that, here's some perspective. The trend is not upwards. And so anybody who tells you that, government just keeps spending more, they're not adjusting for inflation, they're not adjusting for population, right? And they're certainly not adjusting for overall rise in the overall economy. And again, as I said, the economy shrinks during recession, so we have to adjust for that. Because otherwise, when the economy goes into recession, the share of anything goes up, and you want to not do that. So it doesn't really look like the people who say, we don't have a revenue problem, we have a spending problem. These are people who basically believe any government spending is a bad thing. As who's the guy who said he wants government small enough that he can drown it in a bathtub?
It's close.
Yeah, well, 2%. So it's 2% of the state economy. So it's not huge. So, couple things. Now, the recession made a bad budget situation worse. As a share of gross state product, Nevada has one of the very smallest general funds in the nation. Okay? I mean, it's usually 49th or 50th. If we include DC, about 50th. If we include Puerto Rico, it's still, it's like, I think Puerto Rico's ahead of us. Wyoming and Alaska are way ahead of us, by the way. Nevada spends the least on public education. The least on public education is near the bottom in the number of universities and community colleges per resident. Kate and I just submitted a new column today on higher education in Nevada. You'll see it on Sunday, and you'll see we cite these numbers. So you might like this. One time Governor Gibbons was going around. Remember Governor Gibbons? And he was going around talking to folks, and he was saying, "Oh, we're very generous.